Good, happy Monday morning, March 16, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday morning, so let's begin. First up, Governor directs all public schools in New Hampshire to temporarily close, turn to remote learning. 6 new COVID-19 cases announced, bringing state's total to 13, officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. The perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
Today I'm directing all schools in New Hampshire to transition to a remote learning environment effective immediately.
Governor Sununu issues an executive order to close all New Hampshire schools until April 3rd. The announcement was made Sunday afternoon during an update on the state's response to COVID-19.
We have worked many years to be a leader in remote learning, and Commissioner Edelblut and his team again are to be commended for their efforts. They put us in a very strong position to take these actions today.
Starting Monday and throughout the week, teachers will prepare to launch remote learning. Classes will officially go online for the remaining 2 weeks starting March 23rd.
There are some districts who are up and running at a moment's notice. They are fully digitized and are able to deploy technology in ways that can engage their students. Other districts are going to be using hybrid methods of some Chromebooks and some instructional materials that will be analog, and some districts may be fully analog.
And districts are working on plans to provide meals to students. School bus drivers or even the sheriff's department could be tapped as a resource.
We have a number of opportunities for these food programs to continue to support really our at-risk individuals.
The order requiring a shift to remote learning does not apply to non-public schools, but Commissioner Edelblut has been in contact with them and says he expects they will follow suit.
I think it is vital that we continue to work within our communities and support one another throughout this public health emergency.
And now the governor says within the next 48 hours, he will issue directives to make sure parents who have to stay home to take care of their kids will have access to state unemployment benefits. He also says he's planning on expanding child care by allowing businesses and facilities to offer daycare to its employees. We're live here in Concord tonight. I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 coronavirus in New Hampshire. What you need to know. Officials detail symptoms and number of cases. "13 Granite Staters have tested positive for coronavirus disease, COVID-19, which was first detected in Wuhan City, China. New Hampshire data. Number of positive COVID-19 tests, 13. CDC has confirmed 2 of them. Number of pending COVID-19 tests, 95. Number of negative COVID-19 tests, at least 212. Number of people tested, 380. And number of people being monitored, 450. Approximate number. On March 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. The patients in New Hampshire. Let's take a look. Patient 1. Patient 2, Patient 3, Patient 4, Patient 5, Patient 6, Patient 7, Patient 8 to 13, Patient 8 and 9, Patient 10 and 11, Patient 12, and Patient 13. All 13 patients have not been hospitalized and are resting at home with mild symptoms, health officials said. New Hampshire Emergency Center now open. Officials opened the state's emergency center in Concord on March 13th. The center will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. Symptoms. Officials said symptoms might appear in as few as 2 days or as long as 14 days after exposure. Symptoms include fever, cough, and difficult breathing. Prevention. What to do if you are sick. Insurance information. How testing works in COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Again, 13 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 162,687 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 0 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 62 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And 6,065 number of deaths from COVID-19 worldwide. There are 3 people in Grafton that have it, 9 people in Rockingham, and 1 person in Hillsborough. The common symptoms: fever, cough, and difficult breathing, how it spreads, and prevention tips. Total number of cases of COVID-19 in New Hampshire rise to 13. Many cases related to domestic, international travel. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
The governor and state leaders holding a press conference today saying the situation in New Hampshire has rapidly evolved over the last 48 hours, and with that, 6 new cases in the state.
All of these new cases are believed to be travel-related, either international travel, as is the case with 4 individuals, or domestic travel, as is the case with 2 of the individuals.
All 13 people infected are isolating at their homes, and their symptoms have not been severe enough to require hospitalization. Dr. Chan says 80% of people will not require hospitalization, but 15 to 20% will, and he says we need to limit the spread of infection for people at high risk.
In this setting of the new coronavirus pandemic, I want to stress and iterate that we need everybody's help to help prevent spread of this new virus and to protect our families and our communities.
So far, the state's public health lab has tested 379 people. 13 came back positive. Results are still pending for 95 people, and 450 people are currently being monitored. Of the 13 people with the virus, 3 are from Grafton County, 1 in Hillsborough, 9 are in Rockingham County. Dr. Chan also warning that some of the more common symptoms we've been hearing about, cough, fever, and difficulty breathing, may not be the first symptoms people exhibit.
Some of the very early signs of COVID-19 can include more vague or general flu-like symptoms, including someone feeling just simply tired, run down, maybe having a headache, having chills but without a fever, We know that people can transmit this new coronavirus even with those very early and very mild symptoms.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Person in Daily Pinkerton Academy community diagnosed with novel coronavirus, school officials say. Contact investigation being conducted by health officials. School officials at Pinkerton Academy in Derry announced Sunday that a person in the Daily school community has been diagnosed with the novel coronavirus. According to a memo released by the headmaster, the Department of Health and Human Services has begun to contact investigation. The individual, who had not been on campus since March 10th, and officials believe exposure has been limited. School officials ask that people monitor students for symptoms such as fevers, dry cough, and chills. This is the only information school officials were able to share, according to the memo. St. Joseph's Cathedral in Manchester taking precautions during COVID-19 outbreak. Precautions taken to avoid close contact. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jessica Moran.
Do you need a new roof but think you can't afford it? Our average customer pays $7,500 for a total roof replacement, and we have finance plans with payment options under $150 per month. Call today. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
This Sunday looks similar to any other inside St. Joseph Cathedral, but a closer look reveals some changes due to precautions with COVID-19. People who are not feeling well are encouraged to stay home, and for those who do come in, some measures are in place to reduce human contact.
The cathedral seats 900 people, so asking people to sit away from each other so that there is distance between people. We're not using missalettes or worship aids so that we're not handling papers and then putting them back for someone else to use. And we're not offering the sign of peace or the precious blood in the chalice.
They are still serving communion in the host, and they're using holy water with cleaned fonts and fresh water. While Catholic Masses in New Hampshire continue, the Archdiocese of Boston suspended services. It's a step Father Jalbert understands for the bigger city.
I can understand in a large city and in a large archdiocese when there are many more people with a major airport, there could probably be the chance of spreading the virus.
People attending today's Mass expressed some reluctance to go, but said they're taking their own precautions.
Just make sure I'm not touching too many things and make sure that I keep distances, especially from people that are older. We're going to play it safe or just see how things go.
I'm going to, use my protection and caution myself to protect myself. But, I just think it's important to come to church.
Father Jalbert says he expects most Masses to continue throughout New Hampshire. In Manchester, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Donation table set up in Derry to provide for those in need due to COVID-19. Daily supplies provide to those in need. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
And finally tonight from Derry, neighbors are stepping up to help community members concerned with getting daily supplies during the coronavirus pandemic. A table with non-perishable items, food items, and some toiletries is set up at 12 North Main Street. Anyone is allowed to take or give what they want. Brian DeSimone set up the table on Saturday as a way of giving back to his community.
To remember and have your faith in humanity, to remember that we're all human and we all have to live together, and the best thing you can do is help people out in time of need.
And Brian says the table will be set up every morning for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Governor Baker of Massachusetts bans gatherings of over 25 people, orders school closures, restaurant takeout only. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
At New England Dental Group, we use the latest innovations to provide affordable dental implants, specializing in the all-on-4 solution for a completely new smile. Call today about your dental implants. New England Dental Group, all your dental experts at one location.
I'm ordering a 3-week suspension of school operations for educational purposes at all public and private elementary and secondary schools.
Governor Charlie Baker says closing schools around the state is now necessary to stop the spread of COVID-19 after community-level transmission of the coronavirus has now been detected in 7 counties in Massachusetts. Schools will close Tuesday for at least 3 weeks. And during a press conference tonight, the governor announced he's ordering more closures.
I'm ordering that any restaurant, bar, or establishment that offers food or drink shall not permit on-premises consumption. These establishments may continue to offer food for takeout and for delivery.
That order will be in effect for 1 month, beginning Tuesday. Major changes are also coming to nursing homes and hospitals.
We will be prohibiting long-term care facilities and nursing homes from allowing any visitors and require hospitals to screen visitors and restrict visitation.
Governor Baker tonight also announced he's reducing the size of any large assembly. Gatherings will be limited to 25 people. That does not apply to grocery stores or pharmacies. But for all the new restrictions the governor is instituting, there is one big one that he is not.
We are not planning any forced shelter-in-place orders.
So to recap, schools will close for 3 weeks beginning on Tuesday. Also starting on Tuesday, restaurants will only be able to sell food for pickup or for delivery. That lasts for 3 weeks as well. And the cap on large gatherings has been reduced to 25 people. Again, that's for 3 weeks.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Governor Mills declares civil state of emergency as COVID-19 cases announced. There are 7 confirmed, 5 presumptive positive cases in Maine. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Governor declaring a civil state of emergency in hopes of freeing up resources here in the state. But that they are not just trying to limit the spread of the virus, but the economic impact from those who may have to stay home.
Social distancing is still the most effective strategy to mitigate the spread of COVID-19.
Governor Janet Mills applauding Mainers' efforts to limit the spread of the novel coronavirus thus far, encouraging any schools that haven't yet announced they'll move to remote learning to do so. And as for what that means for working parents, DHHS is requesting federal waivers for childcare.
I've also directed Maine DHHS to work with healthcare organizations on standing up child care centers for workers, along with other options to keep frontline workers protecting the public's health and safety.
The Department of Ed will seek waivers from the USDA as well, so schools can feed any students who rely on school lunches. The governor was joined by the director of Maine CDC, Dr. Nareev Shah, who detailed the 7 confirmed cases and 5 presumptive cases in the state.
We also now have evidence of community transmission occurring in Cumberland County. That is to say, the individual most likely acquired his or her infection within the state of Maine.
2 of those patients now hospitalized, and 3 are close household relatives of 3 others. The governor encouraging events of 50 people or more to postpone and recommending against gatherings of 10 people or more, and suggested postponing any medical care that is not essential.
In order to relieve the strain on the healthcare system as we prioritize COVID-19 related cases.
Her administration now working with legislators on emergency bills and a budget agreement.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Breaking news concerning the U.S. economy. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Breaking news concerning the U.S. economy after the stock market's volatile week and falling into a bear market. The Fed taking emergency action today, cutting rates once again, this time to near zero. President Trump urging Americans not to hoard as people rush to stock up on supplies. ABC's chief business correspondent Rebecca Jarvis has more.
Tonight, the Federal Reserve announcing rare emergency action to calm financial fears, cutting interest rates to near 0%, their lowest level since the Great Recession. President Trump, who's been critical of the Fed previously, tonight applauding.
And I want to congratulate the Federal Reserve. That's a big difference, quite a bit, about a point.
Since the record highs last month, the Dow is now down 21%. Now, one of the nation's top economists, Mark Zandi, predicting our new normal. Store closures like Nike and Apple, restaurant traffic and travel way down, will cost the economy $120 billion in GDP by the end of March, issuing this warning.
Well, the economy's shrinking. We're in recession. People are pulling back.
But Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin disagrees, saying the virus won't cause a recession.
We're clearly going to have a slowdown. And later in the year, obviously, the economic activity will pick up as we confront this virus.
Tom, the Fed says the U.S. economy entered this challenging time on strong financial footing. They say they'll keep the new policy in place until it's clear the U.S. economy has weathered the storm and is back on track. Tom?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Stocks features drop hit limit down even as Fed slashes rates. Dow features off 1,000 points. Stock features plummeted late Sunday Eve after Federal Reserves embarked on a massive minority submittal campaign to curb slower economic growth aimed at the coronavirus outbreak. And breaking news from the CDC. Breaking news. The CDC has issued new recommendations that mass gatherings of 50 or more people to be canceled or postponed for the next 8 weeks. The types of events include conferences, festivals, parades, concerts, sporting events, weddings, and other types of assemblies, according to a release from the CDC. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.